everyone. Before anything else, let's start and bless this morning with a prayer to be led by Von. Everybody stand. A pleasant morning, everyone. It's really nice seeing your faces again. Before you take your respective seats, kindly pick up all the pieces of paper and trusses you may find around. Align and arrange your respective chairs properly. Also, for anyone who wants to go to the bathroom, now it's time to do so. If not, then you may sit down. No worries, you know you're always welcome. Now, let us check the attendance. Roland, is there anyone who's not around us at this moment? Very good. That's wonderful to hear. Last meeting, I will presented to you the lessons on the levels of biological organization. Let's have first a short recap on such previous lesson. Again, by definition, what do you mean by the levels of biological organization? Yes, Dahlia. Very good. That's very on point. Now, who can enumerate the levels of biological organization from molecule to biosphere? I can see that Mr. De Guzman is raising his hands. Exactly. Okay. Is there anyone who can give me the importance of biological organization? Yes, Joey. Marvelous. I can literally see you with the Miss Universe crown by that answer. It seems like you have a lot of takeaways from our past lesson, a clear evidence that you really took the learning seriously.
To spice things up and get those brain cells working, let's have an activity called Supply and Complete Me. So group yourselves into four, and what you're going to do is guess what is being asked. A letter or a word to give the correct answer. After you crack the clue and guess the word, raise your board, show your answer. By the way, the words that you will be guessing are connected to our lessons. Are we all clear? Alright, let's hop right into the game. Are we all done? Okay, is there any question regarding the activity that we just have done? So, congratulations to the group who got the right answer, and job well done to all of you. So, before we start, let me read to you our lesson's objective. At the end of this lesson, students are expected to first demonstrate the full understanding of the ecosystem and its component. Next is to appreciate the importance of the ecosystem in our daily lives, and last is to construct a self-sustaining ecosystem in a battle. So together, let us meet those objectives. So to formally start our discussion, who can give me the words that you answered in our activity a while ago? Yes, Miss De Los Reyes. Very good. So what can you say about those words? Any hints? Yes, Mr. Polinario. That's right. So anyone who wants to add to that? Yes, Mr. De Belen. Precisely. So, thank you very much for the ideas that you've shared.
Our topic for today is all about ecosystem and its component. But before that, let's do an activity that will surely test your prior knowledge about this topic. So, in front of you are words that you're going to classify or categorize into terrestrial, marine, and aquatic ecosystem. So, you have 3 minutes to do this activity and your time starts now. So I have here the list of the scores, and I can see that most of you are perfect. So give yourself a round of applause. After doing the activity, what can you tell about ecosystem? Yes, Mr. Tudla? Precisely, you may sit down. So ecosystem by definition is the community of the living organisms together with the non-living environment such as air, water, mineral, and soil interacting as a system. So, who can give me one type of ecosystem that you know and that you have observed? Yes, Mr. Polinario? Correct. You may sit down. So, for additional information, did you know that marine ecosystem is the largest among aquatic ecosystem because ocean makes up 71% of the planet, which covers most entirely the Earth. So, who can add up to that ecosystem? Who can give me another type? Yes, Miss Dison. Perfect, you may sit down. And also, did you know that freshwater ecosystem is divided into two, the lentic and the lotic ecosystem? Who can differentiate the two? Yes, Mr. Gan. Perfect, you may sit down. So according to Mr. Gan, lentic ecosystem are those whose waters are still, while lotic ecosystem are those whose actively moving water. Who can give me examples? Yes, Mr. Rondel. Perfect, you may sit down. Amazing, you really are fast learners. So now that we learn about the main types of ecosystem, let's proceed to the components of the ecosystem.
Now that we know about the ecosystem, let's proceed to its components. Do you know the two components of ecosystem? Yes, ma'am. Excellent. For additional, abiotic is also called as biotope, while biotic is biosynthesis. Let's start with the biotic components of ecosystem. I will show you an illustration and then you describe what they have in common. Got it? What can you say about the illustration? Yes, ma'am. Precisely. Biotic components are the living things that have a direct or indirect influence on other organisms in an environment. Some of these factors include plants, animals, as well as fungi and bacteria. What do you think is the main characteristics of biotic components of the ecosystem? Yes, sir. Marvelous. Let's give him a round of applause. Moving on, these biotic components can be further classified based on the energy requirement source. What do you think are these classifications? Yes, ma'am. That's right. First is the producer. Producers are the plants, green algae, and etc. in the ecosystem, including all the autotrophs. Are you familiar with the autotrophs? Yes, ma'am. Correct. They generate their own energy requirement through photosynthesis in the presence of sunlight and chlorophyll. All other living beings are dependent on plants for their energy requirement of food as well as the oxygen. Next is the consumer. What is consumer? Yes, ma'am. Alright, that is the exact answer for that. Consumers include heterotrophs, or it is the direct or indirect dependent on producers for food. Consumers are further categorized as herbivores, carnivores, and omnivores. Who can differentiate the three? Any other hands? Yes, ma'am. Fantastic. Now, the last category is the decomposer. Upon hearing the word, what can you infer? Yes, ma'am. Exactly. So, fungi and certain bacteria are the prime representatives of this category, which are the saprophytes. Fungi and certain bacteria are the prime representatives of this category, which are the saprophytes. As you have said, they feed on decaying matter and convert this into nitrogen and carbon dioxide. The saprophytes play a vital role in recycling the nutrients so that the producers can use them once again. Again, what is biotic component? Yes, sir. Correct. What about the three categories that biotic components fall? Very good. I'm really impressed. Now, let's move on to the other component of ecosystem, which is the abiotic system. What can you say about this component? Yes, ma'am. Exactly. The abiotic elements of an ecosystem include all the non-living things in an environment. They include the water, air, temperature, and the rocks and minerals that make up the soil. Abiotic components of an ecosystem might include how much rains fall on it, whether it is fresh water and salt water, how much sun it gets, or how often it freezes. They live on and interact with the biotic components. Do you know the two categories of abiotic compounds? Yes, ma'am. Correct. The organic components are the proteins, carbohydrates, lipids, and amino acids, all of which are synthesized by plants and animals, or what we call the biota. On the other hand, the inorganic components are carbon dioxide, water, nitrogen, calcium phosphate, and all of which are involved in the matter cycles. Again, let's refresh your minds. With this game, we are going to examine what have you learned during our discussion. In front of the two letters, which is the A and B, stand behind A if it is abiotic, and stand behind B if it is biotic. Okay, are you ready?
Based on what we discussed today, who can tell me what is an ecosystem? Yes, Miss Federican. Very good. Now, who can give me the two components of an ecosystem and differentiate the two? Yes? Precisely. Now, what I want you to think deeply is the importance of an ecosystem in our daily lives. Yes, Miss Lucas. Very good. Thank you for all the answers. Now, let's do an activity entitled See You at the Station. The directions are flashed on the screen. Are we all clear? Okay, let's begin. Since we are done now with our lesson about the ecosystem and its component, get one half sheet of paper lengthwise and be ready for 5-item quiz. Am I clear? Okay, flash on the screen in front of you are the questions that you're going to answer. Your timer starts now. After you answer the question, exchange paper with your seatmates and let us all check. Okay, class, pass your papers. Wow, I can see most of you got the right answers. Job well done. Give yourself 10 big claps. For your assignment, you will work as a group. You're going to make a self-sustained ecosystem model in a bottle. Be creative in doing your ecosystem model. You will present it and you get to observe it for a week, so that you will able to watch up close how the biotic and abiotic components interact together like rocks, water, soil, and grass. Your findings and learning from this project will be an introduction to our next topic, which is an ecological relationships. After you've done with observation, research about ecological relationship so that you will have an advanced reading about it. Any more questions? Okay, so we are settled. That's all, class. See you next meeting. Goodbye.